Go. We're on live, baseball fans.
We're going to talk
Right?
baseball tonight?
We're talking
Cross-
baseball.
Baseball. Take
I want to talk about.
me out to the ball game.
I want to talk about Frank's jacket.
I thought you were going to say Frank's balls.
I am Festivus for the rest of us.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
There
That's a Santa jacket.
That
Well,
it is.
I saw rumors on the dirt sheets today that said that this was our holiday or Christmas episode, but once again, they were wrong.
Wrong.
And we're also participating in the Royal Rumble, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. That Survivor Series, we missed our opportunity, so now.
Right.
That's on me. I missed a flight.
Well,
yeah.
Don't worry about it. I forgot.
No, I wasn't going to tell everybody. Frank, but you let the cat out of the briefcase.
You let the cat out of Santa's sack. Way to go.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. Santa's sack is full of cats.
That's the rumor.
Weird.
Also,
Speaking of Santa.
You're into some weird porn, Dennis.
Yeah, listen, let's not even get into that.
Another show topic?
Yeah, listen, we don't need to talk about clown and Santa porn. Not necessary.
No. A Santa jacket and a elite shirt. Is that an Undisputed Elite shirt?
It is. Only the best when I'm doing business.
That's a hell of a Santa
combination.
So,
anyway.
So speaking of Santa Claus,
yes, because it in the Fish household, it feels like this could be the Christmas episode because the nightly Christmas viewing has begun. I've seen Home Alone now too many times.
My condolences.
I don't want to see it anymore. I don't like it.
Like we were saying before, they made 3 movies, I believe.
3 with Macaulay Culkin.
Again, how do you lose your kid 3 times in a row?
Just forget him. Not even lose him. Just forget his ass. Just.
That's trauma to a child. Like he's gonna spend the rest of his life trying to sort through that with maybe professional help.
Do you think that's why he did hang out with Michael Jackson? You think that's what led to
it? Maybe he met Michael Jackson while he was home alone?
Or he was traumatized, went to Mike's house, Alameda Quarter, and those two hung out together, but they played the monkey.
Played with the monkey, Mike Corda?
Allegedly.
Mikey Jackson got a monkey, or had a monkey. I'm sorry, I passed down to you.
You think anybody called him Mikey?
I would.
Anybody was called him Mikey? With his buddies, hey, why anybody call him Mikey?
That's probably what Tito called him. Mikey.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike. God,
wow. What a weird life he lived.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin or Michael Jackson?
Both.
Well,
yeah.
Both. Those probably intersected.
They probably crossed the streams.
I'm over here doing karate.
Taekwondo, you doing
Taekwondo now? I like karate. You know karate?
K-Roddy?
You know K-Roddy?
Hey, is the tree up too? You get your tree up?
Talking to me?
Round robin. Anybody out there?
Yes, our tree is up, and it's a beautiful tree.
Real fake?
Real.
No.
Yeah. Listen. The only thing I do that's fake is my job.
All right, yeah, we can do it. Yeah, all right.
And the occasional orgasm,
Do you cut the tree down yourself? Or is
I whittled the tree out of a bigger tree.
Wait. What?
I'm a tree
connoisseur.
Hugger.
No. I mate trees. I get a mommy tree and a daddy tree together, and
incoming.
They have
coming in hot. Well, joining us now,
our guest, and an amazing segment of the show where Bobby was telling us how he mates Christmas trees.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what did I cut off there? I wasn't quite expecting to jump in the middle of that. Sorry, Bobby, to cut
coitus.
off.
He was much like the guy from Back to the Future. Bobby is into mating trees.
Why there was a guy in Back to the Future that mated trees?
Yeah, when Marty first goes back to 1955 and he lands on that farm, it was Old Man Peabody, and he was Twin Pine Farms. And the land that he was on was Twin Pines Mall until he went back, ran over the tree, and it was Lone Pine Mall.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I don't pay close enough attention during movies.
I'm like a Back to the Future nerd, so we'll just let that go.
I was gonna say because I don't know the details of any movie like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think.
Well, let's dive into what we're here to dive into, boys and girls.
Clown porn.
Should I get my pants off now?
I'm not diving into that.
Neither's my wife.
Hey, right there with you, buddy.
Another show for another day.
Yes, or evening, because we do these at night, Frank.
Or we don't ever have to revisit that again.
Yeah. Or we can get thrown off the airwaves. But then again, there's no rule. It's a podcast.
There's no rules. The rules are there are no rules.
No rules. Speaking of rules, Frank, what's the rule when it comes to combat sports and money wagering?
Very funny you asked that, because the last time our guest Tom was on, we had spoken about this back in October, I believe. And oddly enough, Mr. Krause is back in the news, or staying in the news, with some gambling hijinks. It's very, I guess my thing is, how is a guy in the sport able to have his own betting site, basically? He was on something they call Discord channel where he was giving out his picks back in like April. And as I'm doing the research, like, how is that allowed in the UFC? Like, how did that nobody say, hey, we got a trainer and a coach selling picks about our guys? I mean, that's the part that blew my mind.
Well, so just in case there are people that are listening that aren't totally up to speed, is there anyone here that feels comfortable giving a bit of an overview as to what it is you're talking about, Frank?
I do. I'm familiar, unless Frank would like to handle it.
Tom, you're the guest of honor. Hit it up.
Oh, okay. So in the UFC, up until, I believe, what'd you say it was, Frank, in October? They instituted
yes.
They instituted the policy that fighters could no longer bet on UFC fights. Prior to that, you could. There was no rule. It was just strongly urged that you do not do it as a UFC fighter, whether you're betting on yourself, which a lot of fighters did do, or for somebody else. It was kind of frowned upon, but it wasn't illegal. So a lot of people still did it. And then they made it illegal. The UFC said, we do not want any of our fighters doing this any longer. And James Krause, who is a coach, was a fighter in the UFC for a long time, was putting out picks, I believe you said, since April, Frank?
It started to come alight in April. He had a Discord channel where he was charging customers $50 a pop, And anybody not familiar with Discord, it's like a group chat basically, and you were paying Krause money, obviously, and he would give you your picks. And in August, he was on what's his name?
Ariel
had a Ariel show back in August, and it came up, and he was openly bragging about how he made more money gambling, giving out his picks, winning. And you could tell Ariel's caught off guard by the conversation because he's like, wait a second, how you're making money? You're making more money doing this than any facet of the fight game? He's like, yeah, I make a lot of money doing this. And I'm not the only person doing it.
In one aspect, you have to really then think about the pay that the fighters are getting, that he's making more money betting and giving away his betting picks than he is from his actual fight purse. And not only that, not only is he a fighter, but he has a large roster of fighters who are in the UFC who do quite well for themselves. So if, by chance the UFC was paying millions and millions of dollars to the top level athletes like they should be, then maybe he would be getting more of a kickback, and maybe then he wouldn't be betting on the fights in the first place. But Frank, continue on, please.
Well, he talked about that on Ariel's show. I believe that was the one that I was listening to today, where he had said, 3 or 4 of his guys, and he even exposed numbers. But then was just like the time I spend coaching these people, and then the percentage I get from what they get paid, because they're not main event guys with pay-per-view points, etc. Like, it's a couple grand or something, and it's not so it's not hard to imagine that he does make more betting. You're setting the line.
You are setting the line. So before, I think it was the Minner fight, one of the recent fights
Derek Minner, yeah. It was a Derek Minner fight. I don't know if you saw the fight or not, but it was pretty much a nothing fight. The fight starts, Minner throws a leg kick, and then he kind of is hurt, and then he goes down and gets beat up. It was pretty quick, like under a minute long.
Now, before that fight, Minner was the underdog by 220, minus 220, or plus 220. Before that fight, it jumped to 420, meaning somebody came through someplace and put a lot of money on the favorite to win that fight.
Well, didn't Krause say that he openly said that he bet on that fight?
Correct. And that's one of his guys.
Yep.
So I guess that the thing is, how is it? There's got to be some regulations in this for them to really pull out of this, because now it's only the beginning, because the feds are going to get involved at some point.
Well, they have to. I mean, some of this stuff can go to like RICO, can fall under the RICO laws.
Yeah, this is like FCC, insider trading.
Yeah,
exactly.
Stuff, right?
Yeah, it'd be like insider trading on the market.
Now, one thing that I'd like to bring up too, right, is if they're going to go after a guy like Derek Minner for going in there hurt, and there's no guarantee that he went into the fight hurt. I believe he's been cut from the UFC. He might have been suspended by the athletic commission or something. Yeah, but I don't know for what. A lot of people go into fights without disclosing injuries and stuff like that, and for the most part, they escape unscathed. Now, we did just have a situation in which Ilir Latifi got suspended by the UFC. I actually would have been suspended by the athletic commission for not disclosing a staph infection. So he goes out there and fights and wins with a staph infection, says something about it in the post-fight interview. I guess you could see it. And then he got in trouble for it. I believe they fined him and suspended him. And then more notably, we had TJ Dillashaw go out there and fight with a shoulder that he couldn't use at all. He knew he had virtually no shot in winning the fight. He knew so far as to tell the referee beforehand, he and his camp, to tell the referee, hey, my shoulder's probably going to pop out. Just don't stop the fight. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you're going to go after a guy like Derek Minner, why aren't we looking at TJ Dillashaw? Why aren't we looking at some of these other fights that have happened in the past? Really, you're going to have to take a look throughout across the board throughout years and years of fights and swings and betting odds and stuff to find out how deep this goes.
Wasn't there a fight?
Right? Like,
right.
Where do you draw the line? They just instituted this policy that the fighters can't bet on these fights. So you can't. Can you nail somebody for doing it 6 months ago?
Well, how do you regulate it now? Because now there's online betting. What if Bobby's a buddy? What if one of Bobby's buddies is in the UFC, calls up to, hey, so and so's not up to par today. Throw some dimes on it and see what happens. We'll split the cost. I mean, what are you gonna do? Start tracking everybody's phone records and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, the rumors are that they have the phone records, but of James Krause. I don't know how true that is or not, but yeah, people are saying that the FBI is involved and they have all the stuff. So yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of rumors, obviously. So I don't know what is and what isn't true. I know there's a lot of fighters that have been displaced now because I myself went and trained with one of them earlier today. A guy I've cornered in the past, was told by the UFC, hey, get out of Kansas City. Get out of that gym. You can't go to any of the gyms in the town. You got to go. See you later. So he had to come out to
none
Vegas.
of the gyms in the town, because that's where Krause is?
Well, a lot of them have ties to him, whether it's guys that have trained there, that sort of thing. So, I mean, they don't want the UFC having, or the UFC doesn't want ties to Krause at all, from what I can tell. So he's out almost like an island unto his own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of fighters that have to move camps. Probably there's a lot of people bitching and complaining about their betting now being taken away, to which I say, if you're relying on betting as your number one source of income, then you have to realize you're gambling anyways. So, hey, you lost. Sorry. But it's
Right.
true. What are you going
to do? I mean, that's kind of the overall theme, I feel, for this thing in its entirety, is that, like, at the end of the day, we're talking about gambling on whatever the event is. You're kind of asking for some shadiness. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, money's involved, and people, money fucking talks. We all know this. There was a day and time when pro wrestling was legitimate, and then it wasn't. And as soon as it wasn't, even a little bit, multiply that over decades or whatever. Like, I mean, I think you would go back to like the 1920s and then multiply it from then to now. So that'd be like 100 years, and you have modern day pro wrestling. And it's not so hard to imagine how it gets there, to where it's like, okay, well, if I can't trust it, then fuck it. Let's just call it what it is. And like, now I think they're calling into question the outcomes of, like, if you lie to me about a small thing, why wouldn't you lie to me about something big?
Yeah. And with the UFC, it's like, you always know, not that the fix is in when it comes to the fights necessarily, or we didn't think that before, or at least I did. I mean, I could speak from experience. I don't know anyone that has thrown a fight. I know people who have cheated in fights on purpose, and then told me afterwards, like, I'm not going to call out Seth Petrozelli, but he may or may not have told me that he intentionally headbutted a guy and then kept hitting him after to get a TKO. But which, hey, I got to give him props for. That's an effective move. Maybe I should have done more of that in my day.
Listen, it's a fight. You're not out there, painting pictures.
Wasn't there just a boxing referee that said, like, he gave a long count in the Pacquiao fight or something like that years ago?
I didn't see that.
Yes.
But I can.
Right,
I mean,
and then you watch that footage, and it's like, that's not that bad. It seemed like a pretty fair count to me. You know what I mean? So you can't trust anyone, right? Is that guy making it up? Is he lying? Like,
That's why I think it's so comical sometimes when people get their panties in a bunch over pro wrestling, because it's like, yeah, I mean, at least we're being honest about what it is. I think, and we've touched upon this before on this, and it was the last time you were on, Tom, but just how, my dipping my toe into some amateur kickboxing and boxing now and whatever else, like I've seen the influencing of things. Let's just put it that way, whether it be me or not me and other people and, other discussions. And it's just, there's things are not always what they seem. I'll just put it that way. And
if I can add an anecdote to that, because I think it's something that, like, people probably don't think about, but really affected me during a fight. And I'm not gonna come on here and say like, hey, I would have won this fight against Chris Weidman, whether this would have happened or not. Like zero part of me thinks at that point I would have beaten this guy in that night. But I'd say about 3 weeks before, I'm doing my training camp out in California at Team Quest in Temecula, and with Dan Henderson. And I get a call about 3 weeks before the fight, and it's the UFC, and they go, "Hey, don't be too alarmed, but you have hepatitis, right?" Oh shit! Well, what do you mean? Like, don't
be too alarmed.
Like, yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Like, I got to explain this to my girlfriend at the time, who I'm no longer with, so I can, whatever. I'm like, how do I explain this? Like, what girl did I sleep with that I got hepatitis from? What am I gonna do for money? Like, do I just quit fighting and grapple and lie to everybody and just have hepatitis? You know what I mean? Like, I had all these thoughts running through my mind, but I couldn't train. You know what I mean? That's another thing. I couldn't go to the gym and work out with somebody and bleed on them, not knowing. So I had to wait for 2 weeks for all these tests to come back. And
that'd be a hell of a finisher.
It would take years, though. I eventually win. I guess if everybody else dies, I could win the belt, right?
I mean, you're up. I had to wait, you're up eventually.
Like, I had to wait like 2 weeks for the test results and all this stuff to come back to find out I don't have hepatitis. You know what I mean? So by that point, my training camp shot, but it's like, hey, I'm just happy to be there. So of course I end up fighting, and you know what I mean? So there's stuff like that ends up happening that you always have to wonder, like, well, what's going on here?
Right.
Well, did I really have this fake hepatitis test or what? So
and
like
the
that
air
goes on behind the scenes.
The air gets taken out of your balloon. You go a couple weeks thinking like, oh shit, that's awesome, I got hepatitis C, and then you find out like, oh no, I don't have that.
Or another good one is
kind of thing taken away from you.
If there's a local fighter and you're going to bring in somebody from across the country to fight them, you put them on a flight with a long layover, maybe one of those shitty red eyes with like a long morning layover the next day, just make it miserable for them. So there's all these things, all these things that you can do. That's not exactly fixing the fight, but you're moving it in one direction,
You're moving the needle. Yes. 100%. And that's the thing that I think, in my limited experience, I just kind of gleaned from some of it and was like, huh, that's interesting. And yet the public, they don't want to believe, they don't want to hear these things. And if they do, then you're salty or you're full of shit or whatever. And it's like, I just think people enjoy their ignorance, ignorance is bliss.
I agree. That's why I remain ignorant to most things in life. I'm probably better off that way. What I didn't remain ignorant to, though, was your fight, Bobby. Your boxing match.
Well, did you bet on it? That's the question. Did you bet on it?
You couldn't.
Because Krause did. But he bet on the
I
other
don't think
guy.
the fix was in
He
on
lost.
that one. Yeah. But I got to give you props, not only for the win, but for sticking to what I assume was the game plan, right? Getting inside, throwing lots of punches, battering the guy. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not a traditional boxer.
No.
Right.
God,
so
no.
to go out there and try to box, I guess you could say, would have been the wrong thing to do. So I think you did had a great game plan and executed it very effectively. Bravo. Hats off to you. I haven't seen you since then. So
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah. And the idea too is just like I'm not the tallest guy in the world. So more times than not, like I need to get inside. So moving forward is it makes sense. And especially
you're the second tallest guy in the world. Right?
Yes. Right behind Big Show. What's the guy now there? I know him as Jordan, but it's not.
Omos?
Omos, yeah.
Or is that Satnam Singh guy bigger than him though? I don't know.
Oh, he's a big fucker.
How does India get these gigantic dudes?
I don't know. It's something
the water.
Water. No, it's goat's milk.
Oh, goat's milk.
Goat's milk. So they got a special kind of goat there.
Wow. What?
Yeah, I'm not going to ask what they drink on that goat.
Rumor has it that James Krause is buying one of these goats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, the new venture or what?
Yeah.
Does James?
He's got to do something, right? He's
probably going to jail.
Well,
I don't know. Frank? Did you see the fight?
Yes.
You did see the Derek Minner fight?
Minner fight?
Yes.
I didn't watch it.
No.
It's that long.
It's yeah.
When I seen it the first time, I didn't think anything of it. I'd be honest, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think he was doing the job. It literally a normal. Yeah, he hurt himself. But then you look back, and you look at the line movements, and like, well, wait a second, was this legit or was it some bullshit? Would I just watch it after weeks watching it? Then I'm rethinking to myself, well, now was it legit or not? I don't know. Was I worked?
Yeah. And then you got to wonder, what about, has anybody analyzed the past Krause coached fights?
Well, I would imagine that those will now
like
all come under the microscope, you would think.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why Dana White and the UFC, I'm sure, just want distance from Krause, period.
Well, here's the other issue here, right, is that you watch the UFC broadcast and all they're doing is promoting betting left and right. Here's the odds for this fight. Here's the odds for that fight. Here's go to this betting website. Here, hey, we got this jackass who makes picks every week who gets 1 out of 5 right. Here, let's promote him, and they have him on too. That guy sucks. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I don't know his name though. No. He's terrible. He's god awful.
But I'll say this:
Greek. Is it Jimmy the Greek?
Jimmy the Greek?
No, that's a real guy, right?
Yeah, he was a real odds maker.
Maybe a football. Yeah, I don't know. Jimmy the Greek.
No, he was an odds maker, but it was back in the day. I think he's since passed away.
Well, he could still make better picks than this guy. He can still get more right.
If I think about it, John Anik and Kenny Florian have a podcast, and they do picks for the fights at the end of it. They have a third guy on, and they all do picks. And I remember that there was a time that James Krause used to come on and be the fourth or fifth guy. Sometimes he would be a guest, every couple months or something, and do the picks on their podcast. And John Anik, he works for the UFC.
John Anik, no joke, told me one time that he had bet This is like when he started doing commentary for the UFC. So this must have been, my guess is 2012, 2013. He told me that he had bet on sports every single day since 1999. It was something ridiculous. And I was like, oh, excuse me? I was like, every game? He goes, no. Every single day. Wow. And I was like, that's got to be bullshit. But then you listen to the guy's podcast or you listen to him commentate, and it's just odds, nonstop. So, hey, I believe the guy that he's bet on sports that much. But how are you gonna like get people in trouble when that's what you're promoting?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of become like it's white noise for me more or less because I don't bet on anything. But I feel like recently being like in the past, let's say 6 to 8 months, I do feel like the betting visibility has gone up. It's like just in everything that I watch, and like DraftKings and these bet online, like these things are all getting way more mainstream coverage and whatnot, and yet it's still like gambling is supposed to be taboo. Like it's still considered pretty dirty.
Yeah, I think some of it. I think some of it goes in cycles. You know, because if you remember, like back in the day, there was Bodog.
Yeah,
and some of these other big betting websites, and I think I don't know how long it takes for somebody to figure out how to circumnavigate or circumvent. No one's
circumcise.
You know what? The guy from Bodog was circumnavigating the globe in his yachts with a bunch of hot chicks throwing MMA fights.
It was circumcising the years world
to kind of figure out how to like circumvent the rules. You know, maybe we put this website offshore, and then this one's all online, and what you're actually doing is it's fantasy, so you can put money in because you're not actually betting on the games themselves. There's all these certain things that these websites figured out how to do, and I think it just goes in cycles. Maybe like every 4, 5, 6 years, a new kind of deal comes along.
Yeah, well, they'll probably figure something out with Bitcoin or one of those.
Well, I think a lot of people are already betting using that because it's less trackable, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true.
Well, I also think you're seeing more ads for all of these new online gambling things because they keep popping up. So, like, I know DraftKings has been going hard, but they also have like the MGM app. So you're getting like, I mean, MGM is a major casino player, and now they have their own gambling website. So you're going to start seeing a lot more advertising for it. And I think DraftKings is a gigantic sponsor for the UFC as it is.
Yeah. Well, and you can't, like, in most places, you still can't just go bet on sports at the casino. Right. So you have to do it online. You have to do it through some other medium. So it's easy for them, or I guess it's better for them to be putting an ad on TV where you're probably at home, where you can access the internet anyways. Yep. Right. In order to do that, rather than, I mean, here in Vegas, I can just go do it. I guess I kind of take that for granted, and a lot of places like California just voted against it as a state. And it was like the Vegas casinos I read they put in something like $300 million into the campaign to go against betting over there. You know what I mean? To keep it, pretty much in Nevada. So, I guess that helps out those online companies as well.
Well, here in the sunny city of Albany, we got the sports book. Sport betting is legal now in New York State, so we have a sports book in our local casino in Schenectady.
Well, it took forever to get that. It took forever then to legalize UFC in a state, and so
now they're both there. Now we got there, so we can go be degenerate gamblers down in Schenectady
and bet UFC.
Yeah.
Well, it's a nice town too,
Schenectady's a wonderful city. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's
beautiful
very scenic. Very scenic. So it's never been in the UFC. It's never been illegal as long as the UFC has existed for coaches and trainers or anyone affiliated with fighters to gamble on the fights. Correct? It's always been
up until like a month ago or something.
Yeah, a month ago.
It's hard to believe that. I mean, I guess it all goes back to combat sports never really being accepted to begin with, and then like their fight for legitimacy and to be, for the UFC to mean the same thing as like the MLB and the NFL and all that, all the same. But I don't know, like how many years are we into the UFC as a league?
27. Let me think about this. 94, I believe. So
okay.
What is that?
So, like, is there any record of like 25, 30 years in the NFL having a big come to Jesus moment about gambling and whatnot? Because I mean, I would think that professional football is the number one sport. It is the number one sport in this country, and I would imagine it's the number one sport as far as gambling is concerned.
There was a receiver last year for the Atlanta Falcons who got a 1-year ban because he was betting for his team to win.
Betting on himself, right? Like, I understand if you're betting against yourself and throwing it, like, but to bet on yourself, that's just it's ridiculous to get in trouble for that. Like, what is the downside?
How many times has Mayweather done it?
Yeah, a bunch. Boxers are known to do that all the time, and get away with it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think the problem with all of it is there, like many issues, it's not black and white. It's this huge shade of gray, and as soon as you get into the minutia of it all, like it's just very nuanced. So you can't make a hard rule and stick to it. Like it's not possible because of how nuanced the situation becomes. I don't know. Like, so are coaches not allowed to bet, but agents can? Are agents' parents allowed to bet, but fighters' parents can't? Like, where do you draw the line?
What if I don't train, but the guy's my friend?
Yeah.
And he tells me, like, I've had syphilis breakout for 8 weeks, and I feel like shit, and I'm heading to this fight. You know what I mean? Right. Like, can I not go bet against him then? Because I have this,
don't bet on Tom tonight. He's got diarrhea.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? That's happened. I could have told people I wasn't going to win that
fight. Don't bet on me tonight. I got the squirts.
I've had that before the match. I've shit myself during the fight.
Really?
Not literally.
Good for you.
Figuratively.
I thought I shit my pants on AEW Dynamite.
Oh, are we going back to the Jeff Hardy story?
Yeah, Jeff Hardy hit me with the it was called the Swanton Bomb, but afterwards I found out they were calling it the Crouton Bomb of late. And Matt Jackson told me, dude, brace yourself because it feels like somebody dropped a fucking refrigerator on your chest. And holy shit, something came out of my butt. Something. And I was certain, like, oh, I shit my pants. I mean, what else could it have been? And I got to the back, and I was, much to my surprise, there was nothing. I checked. I went into the stall in the locker room, and I got back there and was like, fuck, there's nothing. So then I thought, like, I don't know, did like my large intestine pop out of my butthole and go back in?
What you calling?
There's no tooth or anything down there?
I swear there was something between my cheeks. in the ring that came out. And it wasn't there when I got to the back. So I don't know.
You didn't have a muffler in?
No. I've never, never been one for a muffler.
No, me neither. But I didn't know it was a thing until
I didn't either. Until you just said it.
Oh,
Now you got to own it.
very. You'll get. It's very popular on the with some of the current New Japan guys. A lot of mufflers floating around backstage.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm finding.
I don't know what's up with
new. I haven't been to Japan in a while. Something different in the water.
Yeah, that's why. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, New Japan strong. We got
Speaking of which, right?
Something coming up this weekend.
Today it's the middle of the week, but I'll see you in a few days,
Tuesday.
Won't I?
Yeah. Sunday, the 11th.
When do you get in?
Yeah.
Can we reveal this information? Because there's the
morning.
UFC. When?
Sunday morning.
I was gonna say the UFC is Saturday night.
Oh, really? Shit.
Yeah.
They asked they were gonna get me in Saturday night too. They asked me if I said no, fly me in Sunday. I
would normally do that, but the drive from Vegas back to LA going that direction is horrific Sunday morning. Like it could take me like maybe double the amount of time sometimes. So I go the day before and then like I take off right after the show. I do the opposite.
Okay.
But I'll see you Sunday anyways.
Yeah. What's is it 282?
I think
UFC 282. Is it a pay-per-view?
Blakovic versus Ankalaev.
Yeah, that is. I think they changed the main event.
If you guys were James Krause, what would you do on that main card? Maybe I'll place a bet.
You should. Bell's doing it.
As long as you don't live anywhere in Canada, you can place a bet.
Yeah, if you got any listeners out there in Canada, hit me up. I'm willing to.
We're big in Canada.
Yeah, I'm willing to drive back and forth the 7 minutes that it takes you to get to the casino here. You got some high rollers? Let me know.
I think what they did, they banned it in banned them in like 3 provinces in Canada.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard that today. Yeah.
And Jersey took any fighter who was associated with Krause off the board for the last pay-per-view.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Huh.
Well, that's the other thing. If they start pulling fights off the board, fans are gonna be like, "Hey, why am I watching this? What am I watching at this point?"
Yeah. Well, we've already had like 2 fights now canceled. 2 big fights on this show canceled, right? So then you're going to have fights getting canceled. You're going to have names getting pulled off the board betting wise. You're going to have guys getting pulled from fights.
Yep. So were those 2 fights that were canceled, they're Krause related?
No. Just like the injury, not only just the fights, but like you had the fighters. You had Yuri Prohaska and Glover both get pulled from the show.
Oh, right. I heard about that.
It's not just like one got taken out and the other one stayed on. They both are off, and it didn't get replaced with a different fight. I think Ovince St. Preux was going to fight someone, and then like a few guys got hurt, so now they just pulled that fight. Robbie Lawler pulled off this week, so it's like a snake-bitten show anyways. And they're going to have all this other, are there guys that have been pulled off the board for this week, Frank?
Not that I can say, no.
So I would think they're going to move fights up from the prelims to the main card.
I think this is one of those shows that they have like 15 fights on anyway, so it looks like they still have 15 fights on the show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh,
6 is next.
Well, it looks like they got 3. The prelim fights were canceled.
8 comes after 7.
Carry the 3.
Then 9. Then you're done with single digits. Now you're on to the first double-digit number in the alphabet, and that's 10.
Is
11.
Dana White? Is
I
Dana
saw
White
13 fights. So
13? Is Dana White just ignorant to all this stuff?
Come on, Frank.
Is Dana White just ignorant to all this stuff?
Shame on you.
the betting and stuff.
Yeah, because
Shame on
it was the
you.
last press conference he did. They asked him about the line movement. He goes, "No, it happens all the time." And the person's like, "Well, no. What happens when somebody puts a large amount of money on a certain fighter? It makes the line move." No, that's not what happened. And I listened to him like, "Yeah, that's how it works. You don't just make the line move for generosity."
He also threw in
He
there.
says it doesn't.
Yeah,
I think he's the opposite of ignorant.
He threw in there too, like no one would have taken those bets, or it was just the shit he was saying was really just. I was like, man, you're really trying to deflect hard on that one. It's not to like allege anything that's going on. I don't really want anyone to think we're pointing fingers at Dana White or the UFC, but
we're not, Dennis. You might be.
Oh, I'm not either. It was what he was saying, but I think he was trying to play
to me like finger pointing.
Oh well,
he just came across.
Throw you under the bus.
What if I just say allegedly? Is that okay then? Just throw that in there.
Possibly.
Yeah, then you're safe.
It might.
It's possible.
No, I think he's so far ahead on the damage control. I mean, he's done damage control for this company, for fighters and for himself for years and years and years. Like, if we go back in time, there's so many instances. Like Rampage Jackson went on a rampage one time. He like lost his mind, was running people off the road in this gigantic truck, like his monster truck with his face and shit on the side. I believe he like hit a woman who lost a child in the, while he was doing this, something like that. And UFC
That's
paid
good
for all this.
publicity.
Huh?
That's good publicity.
Yeah. For the mental institution, that the UFC's Shady Acres Mental Institute, where they sent him alongside Ace Ventura.
Yeah, right after something like that is when you want to run for office.
Well, UFC paid for all that, paid for his lawyer fees and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, what's the deal there?
He was still just living in the
18. Were they running there? Or John Jones?
Oh, geez.
There's just so many things.
I think Rampage was just stuck as B.A. Baracus and he couldn't get out of the A-Team movie.
Foot was on the pedal.
I pitiful.
That was Mr. T. Same character.
Same character, both B.A. Baracus.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Then a Mohawk.
It's one and the same.
So where does the UFC go from here, boys?
Make more money?
WrestleMania?
That's not too far-fetched.
You got to go to the Royal Rumble first.
They need a sign to point at. Right?
This is true. They do. Let's get that in the arena. Let's get that. And let's have a marquee event every year. Like enough of these numbers, enough of UFC 282.
Yeah,
let's have, throwdown at the hoedown.
Yeah.
Do like at a all-girls college or something.
They used to do International Fight Week, right? And that was kind of like the big one of the year. And then they started doing a big year-end show, like a New Year's show.
A rear-end show.
Yeah,
a rear-end show.
Yeah,
I was on the undercard on most of those
of the rear-end show.
I was fighting on the bottom.
Yeah.
Then they were doing like the year-end show for a while, but then now it's like I think there's just so many. I think this was supposed to be the big show of the year, but you can't count on guys making it to the fights. There's just so many injuries and stuff like that I don't think you can even count on having a big show. And there's not that many big name stars. like realistically, people still talk about Conor McGregor, the guys that want to fight in ages, but people still talk about him like he's at the top of the division. So, I don't know if there's that many people that can carry a big name show. What would we call it? I think that's really what's going to draw people in.
Yeah. Well, and I think you would be able to speak on this better than obviously the three of us, but I feel like the sport just progresses so fast at this point that like careers are not long. We're not talking about like it seems not that Conor hasn't been around for a long time, but his window as far as being top of the division, it's kind of past.
Yeah.
But he's still got that name value.
He's not the only one, Bobby, right? Like, think about Cody Garbrandt, right?
Sure.
Think about how hot he was for a while, right?
Yeah.
2 fights ago, everybody was talking about how Charles Oliveira is like unbeatable at this stage of his career.
Yeah.
He can do it standing. He can submit anybody. And now it's like he's an afterthought after Islam Makhachev took him out.
So it happened so fast.
Yeah, the turnover.
It's crazy.
Yeah, even if you're a younger guy like Cody Garbrandt, right? It's not like he got old. I mean, he got injured a few times, but it's not like he got old and slowed down, right? He got hurt in the game.
Yeah,
passed him by a little bit.
I think it's a combination of age and then fight mileage, and how that fight mileage wears on some people quicker than others. But then you watch like the drop off of, let's say, like a Tony Ferguson. It seemed like there was a time where the run he was on when he was undefeated for however many fights, just nobody could figure him out. And then his drop off was severe. Yeah. And his performances just weren't, they weren't the same. And then, I mean, you see the last fight with him and Diaz, and it caught, it caught a lot of criticism.
Yeah. Well, I think you don't see guys like age gracefully out of the sport.
Yeah, it's a sad truth of the sport.
Yeah, and even guys who like hang around at the top for a while, but don't quite like get back there like guys would before. You had like GSP was on top forever, right? It seemed like BJ Penn. He was like losing fights, but he was just around forever. Same with Matt Hughes. These guys would win, they'd lose, they'd get back to the title hunt. Now it's like, once you get your couple of shots, for the most part, unless you're like Max Holloway, you're out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's lighter weight classes. So, I mean, there are, like you said, I think it's just a factor of multiple things. Like, obviously, everybody's gonna age differently, both physically, mentally, and like as a fighter. The mileage, like you mentioned, and the fast turnover in technique and skill and speed and conditioning and all these other things that now people, as the sport keeps going, people figure out exactly how to maximize these things for that 15 minutes in the cage.
I mean, really, when you break it down like that, it's a brutal, like even more than on the surface, it's a brutal endeavor. Like not just because you're smashing bone against bone, but it's a brutal existence in that the turnover is so fast, and that your time in the sport or at the top of the sport is so brief, and yet there's so much commitment, whether it be time, effort, finances, sacrifice of the family, et cetera, to be at the top of the game. And it's like you're doing it for maybe 4 or 5 year run, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what the average is. I was lucky to be doing it for longer than that, but there was years where I didn't fight because of injuries and stuff like that. So I don't know how you factor in the length of someone's career. But yeah, it's not a long-term endeavor.
No.
It shouldn't be. You know what I mean? It's very rare that you have these guys like Andrei Arlovsky or somebody like that, or like Glover Teixeira, and usually it's in the heavier weights, right?
Yeah.
Usually it's in the heavier weights where speed isn't as big of a factor. You know, you can get by with being a little bit older and perhaps smarter because the game's not as fast. You know what I mean? It's different. It's not better or worse, but those guys they're rare. They're, you know, exceptions to the rule, and the rule is that you're going to get your ass kicked, and it's probably going to be for a very short time, and you're probably not going to make a whole lot of money. So have fun while you're doing it, right?
Yeah, I mean, really. And as a fan of it all, like it almost, you start to feel a little bit like, well, what am I watching? You know?
Yeah, like these guys should be able to bet on their own fights if they want.
Yeah. I almost feel like, fuck. I mean, there should be no rules at this point.
What they should do is build themselves a large fitness empire based on eating raw meat.
All right.
And no drug testing, though.
No, not at all.
No drug testing. What, Tom? What are your thoughts on
Liver King?
I wish I would have known we were going to talk about the Liver King. I wasn't informed prior to this. I will say, I did witness the Liver King take part in a liver eating contest against Paulo Costa and one of the Pitbull brothers at a Bellator event.
Really?
And the Liver King destroyed them. Really? Absolutely annihilated them. It wasn't even close.
Raw liver.
Yeah. It was like plates of raw liver. It was disgusting.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Of course it was.
Now,
of course.
His liver apparently is the real king of the throne, right? To be able to process all the drugs that were cycling through him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what did anyone expect? Did anybody think this guy was clean?
There
like
were
who?
people because he had said
lying to you and themselves. No one thought he was clean. Anybody bought the ancestral tenets? I'm sick of this shit. What do people want to go back to caveman times for? This paleo stuff, the ancestral tenets? Like, my dogs never use the internet. You know what I mean? You think being a wild animal is better? It's not. Wild animals, like I was in Hawaii. You know how many dead chickens and shit I saw? They were everywhere. Going back to wild animal times isn't better for anybody. These are technological advancements and societal advancements for a reason. They're good things. Fucking Liver King.
Like deodorant. I think the Liver King probably smells like BO.
He does. He's admittedly.
When I look at him, he just looks like that guy.
No,
he looks. Listen, there were a few in gym class, and I'm not going to name names, but if I did, Dennis, Frank, you would know who I'm talking about. But yeah, just that like chopped onion smell. Just smells like feet.
Well, he's admittedly.
I don't wear deodorant smell.
He's admitted that he doesn't wear it. I don't think he showers regularly, if at all.
Huh. Do we have a list?
Yeah, but he also said he didn't do steroids. So
fair enough.
Can't really.
But according to him, the ladies love his musk. I don't believe that.
Mm-hmm. I wonder
there's 9 tenets of ancestral living.
It's eat, sleep, move, shine, connect, cold, sun, fight, and bond.
What is that?
Did he watch Captain Planet and come up with this shit? What is that?
He ate raw liver, bone marrow, and even bull testicles.
Wow, listen, everybody likes a good bull testicle. I mean, that's what we're having for Christmas.
That's Christmas dinner in the Fish household. You guys are
Yeah.
vegans. Why are you eating bold nuts?
Well, it's just one day a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just
Frank, I
that
believe you may
our,
have read the condensed version of those because it actually is more.
What's the
ridiculous.
expanded version?
Sleep like a rock.
Like the
they're
Rock
not even,
or
they're not even
A-Rock?
living. They can't go to
So
sleep.
sleep like Dwayne Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah, a bet of money.
How is it
Yeah.
that he sleeps?
Sleep like the Rock. Eat like our ancestors.
Silk
Okay. Now,
sheets.
that one, you know what? I can kind of get into that one. If it's not raw food, there's a reason we cook it and salt it and shit. Move like our ancestors. Okay, that's probably the one that has the most validity. Shield from dangers.
I mean, it sounds like sound advice. You know, you see something like you don't want to go stepping in front of a bus.
This is where you shield yourself from perfumes, colognes, deodorants, stuff like that. Connect to the earth. Okay, yeah, I like that one. Not all bad. Get cold. Not a fan.
See, I've become a big fan of that.
Nah.
I take nothing but cold showers now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Get sun, magnesium, fat soluble activators. Okay. Struggle, fight, win. I prefer just to fight and win.
Is masturbate on there anywhere?
Yeah, bond with your tribe. I believe that's you meet up in
your
mutual
tribe,
masturbation.
Okay.
The last tenet.
There you go.
He was spending $12,000 a month on steroids. That's amazing.
Well, so
what the fuck was he doing that he could afford $12,000 a month?
Because people were paying for this, whatever he was selling, this tomfoolery.
Supplements.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody said that his abs were surgically implanted.
Yeah, there was the rumors of the ab implants and all that. Yeah.
No.
Who would do such a thing? Probably this is, these are the same people with calf implants. What's with the butt implants nowadays? Like, my wife has pointed them out, and once she's pointed them out, I've seen some of the asses on these. There was a woman at the Mall of Millennia in Orlando a few weeks ago, and it was obscene. The like disproportionate dimensions of her butt as opposed to the rest of her. Like, she didn't look human. It looked like, I don't know, there's symmetry that when it's fucked with too much, it just will never look right. And that's what this woman had achieved, and she paid for it.
She reached their goal.
Yeah.
Freak show.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like somebody just filled the back of her pants with Legos or something.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fix a flat. Pump it up with whatever's in that thing.
Maybe. But is it true they like suck the fat out of one place and then they shoot it into your ass? It's really crazy what they.
Well, I hadn't told you guys yet, but I'm getting butt implants next weekend, so I'll let you know.
Oh, cool.
Just as my Christmas present to myself is ass
Nice.
implants.
Are you getting like underlift or more shape on top?
More of an a little bit of both. I need a little bit of lift on the bottom and some shape on the top. I just need a new ass is what I'm saying.
I want to get my face pulled back.
Nice.
Just so I look younger. Do I look younger, guys?
I don't know.
Do you see those people? Oh my God. Like Stallone is one of them. Some of these people they're just
What is that's Botox?
Yeah.
What do they say?
know.
Or are they pulling their face back? Really?
I think some people do. I think women notice it more than men. I have noticed for a long time, and this even goes for like pro wrestling, just that there's something wrong with some of the girls' faces. And I couldn't put a finger on, like, what is it? And then I was watching one night with my wife, and she's like, she's had too much of this and too much of that and too much of this. And I think it's just something that guys, we see it and we know there's something off, but we don't know what. And it takes like another woman to be able to say like, well, yeah, it's fucking that. You don't. And what the fuck are these people thinking? And some of these girls, like, I don't know. I don't know that there's an appropriate age for stuff like this, but leave your fucking face alone, guy, girl, anyone. Like, you never look normal again, ever. Like Mickey Rourke. What the fuck?
Plastic surgery is amazing.
Well, and I'll say even like Stallone. I don't know what he looked like before this surgery, but we see what it looks like after, and it's not good. Just let it go, or wear a hood.
Let it go.
Wear a hood or something.
He's wear a hood. He's more like a Madame Tussauds statue of himself. Himself now.
Yeah, it's like they get so much surgery done, they're like a caricature of who they once were. It's like, oh, you kind of look like Rocky.
What they should do is they should walk around in a bedazzled stormtrooper helmet all the time.
Yes. Yes. You know what I would like to get for my toilet is a bedazzled bidet.
Huh. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I just think that that's a funny combination of words. Bedazzled bidet.
Huh. Let's end on a positive.
We can't end on that.
There we go.
Let's go, Bubba. Let's give out our number one Christmas movie.
Are we just giving one, or are we going to do the Mount Rushmore?
Does Tom feel comfortable giving us 4?
4? No, I don't think I can give you 4. I'm not much of a movie guy.
Damn it, man.
I'm going to have to think about
Forrest Hump.
Forrest Hump? No. Christmas movies.
Oh. I thought you said porn.
Christmas pornos, yes. All right, so who are we starting with? Frank,
all right, go ahead. So we're just going straight to number 1? Is that what we're doing here?
You're the host. You tell us what we want to do.
I mean, Tom, our guest, and he said that he can't do 5. Can we go with 3, gentlemen?
I can.
Sure. If I go last, I can do 3.
All right. So we'll go around the horn.
Yeah.
I will start with, because I had my full list before, but now I got to modify this. Oh boy, I'm gonna go with The Grinch, Jim Carrey, The Grinch.
Okay. Good choice.
If we're only doing 3, I had 2 before that. I'll keep them to myself. Go ahead, number 3, Frank.
I'm gonna go.
You're above me.
I'm gonna go with Christmas Vacation.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That's
I also have
3.
in 3. I also have Christmas Vacation at number 3.
Jesus Christ.
Technically, that is a Christmas movie.
I say Elf.
Elf. Okay.
Okay. Well, my number 2. My number 2. That's funny. I got my daughter with that twice in the past 2 days. She said doo-doo.
Oh, nice.
You should give her the old, hey, pull my finger.
No, because you know what's happened. You know what happens to me, and I don't. Maybe this is an age thing, but like, because I try to be polite and not fart in front of my wife. You know, I'd like her to still want to have sex with me and whatnot.
I'm the same way.
But I fall asleep lately.
No.
When I fall asleep, they wake me up. I fell asleep sitting across from my wife today. I fell asleep in the chair. We're sitting across from each other, and I dozed off. And then I woke up, and she's looking at me, and she's like, "Do you realize what you just did?" I was like, "Yeah." Excuse me, I didn't mean I farted. And she was like, "Yeah, you woke yourself up." It was definitely one of my prouder moments. So, yeah, number 2 for me is Elf. Is Elf. I mean, how do you not Will Ferrell, in all his Christmas glory? So, number 2 for me is Elf.
I'm gonna go Elf too.
Wow.
As well.
Number 2 for me is A Christmas Story.
Wasn't that number 3? Isn't that the same thing you just said?
No. Christmas Vacation. That's the Chevy Chase movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Christmas Story is
the one with
Ralphie and the BB gun.
Oh, yeah. Christmas Vacation's good.
Yeah.
Me?
Yes.
Gremlins.
Oh,
fair enough. Yeah,
I forgot that was a Christmas movie.
Dark
Some people
Horse.
call Die Hard a Christmas movie.
Everybody calls Die Hard
a
Christmas movie. That's like the
Bruce
go-to.
Willis. Bruce
That's
Willis
the
Yeah.
go-to hipster answer. Well,
Yeah.
now I went one further.
I don't consider it a Christmas movie. However, so my number 1, it's already been said, but is Christmas Vacation. I mean, it's the fucking Griswolds. Like, how do you can't do any better than Clark W. Griswold for the Christmas spirit. I mean, the man, he endured. He would not be denied his Yule, his log.
Oh, bend over and I'll show you.
Inspiration to thousands of fathers during the Christmas holidays out there.
I watched Christmas Vacation on a loop before that boxing match in Dubai. Just to get myself motivated.
Pissed off.
Hey. Frank?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay. Fair enough.
So disappointed.
My number 1 is Elf.
Wow.
This is the most fucking tragically boring list.
I'm gonna spice it up with my number 1, which is Bad Santa.
Oh,
Nice. Good choice.
Right, yeah.
Well, we could have all said it too.
Yeah.
Here we are, like, thank God he saved the list. But, shit. Nobody's holding a gun.
Thank God my extensive knowledge of Christmas movies. I don't think I could name one more. Unless there was like Emmanuel and Christmas or something. Or you know what? There had to be a leprechaun at Christmas, right?
Oh, must have been.
Hornswoggle?
Because there was like 15 leprechaun movies. How was Hornswoggle not in one of the leprechaun movies?
He was.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He was.
I want to see if I can get one of those. That'd be a good
all right, a new goal.
Leprechaun Origins.
And Hornswoggle's in it?
Yeah.
Is Finley? David? We're wrestling him. You know that, right?
He's not that small. He's
no,
just
but
young.
listen, we wrestle him Sunday.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
so
Eddie
wait,
Kingston.
you want to trash talk his brother? Swoggle?
Homicide. That's not his brother.
Bullshit. It's not on TV. Definitely his brother.
You think Swoggle will be there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Swoggle's got heat. Swoggle's got heat with some people. Wasn't it Swoggle? Oh shit! So doesn't Swoggle and Punk have heat?
Do they? I got heat with Swoggle.
Really?
I do too.
Yeah.
Why do you?
What? I was at a match, right? I had 2 matches this day. I'm at a match. I wrestle, right?
Mm-hmm.
He watches it. After he comes over, he goes, "Tom, can I give you some advice?"
I'd say no.
Yeah, sure. He goes, there's that, like, the fighting spirit spot you guys did at the end. He goes, next time, he goes, everybody does that. He goes, next time, why don't you do it at the beginning? I think it'll work. And I go, I said, I swear to God, I go, you know what, Swoggle? You're right. I think it will work. I'm going to do it. So, I planned the entire next match around doing that, the fighting spirit spot at the beginning. Right before I'm about to walk out, Swoggle comes up to me, shakes my hand. He goes, "Hey, I'm taking off. I'm out of here." And I'm like, I planned my entire match around you watching this. So you can give me feedback after you came over and you're fucking taking off.
You're taking your Lucky Charms ass out.
Yeah. So he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know that I planned the entire match around his suggestion.
What a piece of shit.
Because he big time and bolted out of there right before my match.
I hope his Christmas sucks.
I still like him.
Oh.
But
all right, well, I take that back.
I'm gonna take it out on his son.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say take it out on his ass. Treat him like he's your cellmate.
Too plump.
Huh.
Sorry.
Oh, that's kind of harsh.
All right.
Yeah.
Time to go.
I think we can end on that note.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should give a shout out to the great Barry Windham, though.
Yes.
Barry's in rough shape.
Yeah.
All kidding aside.
Yeah. Was there anything where money can be donated to any sort of fund or?
There is a GoFundMe that Mike Rotundo set up.
Okay.
We can put that on the Twitter page if someone wants to look at it.
Okay. I think that'd be good.
I'll put the link on the YouTube video too, or underneath the YouTube video.
Yeah, Barry Windham, one of those guys I know for me growing up was, man, just didn't seem like he had to even try.
No.
Just was so good at everything. And yeah, it's a shame to see him struggling at this point.
I'd also like to send some well wishes the way of Richard Holiday as well, who's a competitor in MLW, wrestles across the U.S. But today it was, I guess, made public that he has, I believe, stage 4 lymphoma that he's been fighting cancer since this summer. So, this guy, he's been a great guy. Anytime I've run into him or dealt with him, I could have that a little bit wrong, but I know he's he's battling cancer. Sick, yeah. So yeah, best of luck to him. So I'm sure like you're probably gonna hear it, like, a lot of people say it because the guy's an awesome guy. So best wishes his way too.
Yeah, it makes you think. Like, it really puts things in perspective. Like how just the daily in and out can kind of get to you, and you get wrapped up in your own shit. And like just get some perspective. You hear something like that and it puts some perspective on things, and it's like, okay, if my wife and my kids are happy and healthy and I got a roof over my head and a job to feed my family, like really what in the fuck am I complaining about?
You can also go to Barry's website. They're selling T-shirts, and all the proceeds go to him for his medical bills. If you go to BarryWindhamOfficial.com, there's a link on that page where you can buy one of his shirts.
Okay.
And we'll retweet that to our page also. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
Tom, thanks again for dropping some knowledge on us on the gambling stuff and the UFC goodness.
You guys educated me about as much as I did you. So,
and Tom, I will. I'll thank you ahead of time for welcoming me to Team Filthy.
Yeah, the fish tank.
Yeah,
I love the shirt, man.
It's really.
When do I get one of those Fish Tank Fight Club shirts?
I'll bring.
We can't get one.
I'll bring it. Well, yeah, I'm working on them.
I've got a Cricut machine. I can do some printing on here, so maybe I'll make my own.
No, I had lots of plans going forward, and then this thing happened for next week. Frank, you know about it, and it was this thing's thrown me for a loop. Yeah,
gonorrhea. You got gonorrhea again.
Yeah.
The UFC called him. Turns out he's got hepatitis. Who knew?
Been there.
Yes. Well, I asked for hepatitis C for Christmas, so we'll see.
I got the last dose years ago. Was the issue?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you on Sunday, Bobby.
Yes, sir. That'll be my pleasure.
I'll see you guys next time. Whenever
Frank.
that is.
Thank you, sir.
Whenever you welcome me back. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Good night.
Frank, what do you got?
What do you got?
Nothing, Bubba. I got nothing for you. I brought the shiggy back.
Awesome. Still not better than it's still just as bad as it was last week, but that's all right. It's fine. It's fine. We'll work on that impression.
Yeah, please.
I got nothing. So say goodnight, Bobby.
Good night, Bobby.
Meow.